Hey, welcome to Living the Dream with MS. Today I'm going to talk about a symptom that I've experienced many times in the past, but I've experienced more recently with just stress on my body, stress in my head. It's one that doesn't really have a scientific name that I've found. I've seen some of the much less scientific names like brain fog or brain cloud. The most scientific one I've seen is called cognitive pause. So what is it? It is not the speech disfluency that you saw in my very first video, but it's a similar process. So what it is when you're in mid-conversation and all of a sudden the words escape you. They're just gone. You are no longer having in your mind what it was you were about to say. It's a full pause. It's like somebody hit the pause button on the CD. So I dealt with this the other day after a long day of work and football and everything else. And I was sitting in the room talking to Laurie and telling a story. And in mid-story, I said something to the fact of, and then, and the affect wasn't frozen, but what I had for words just went away. It wasn't that I couldn't speak them. They weren't up here anymore. That is very frustrating. And quite frankly, it's very scary. I work in a business where I deal with a lot of people that have Alzheimer's and dementia later on in their life. And to experience a symptom that they experience can be very overwhelming and very concerning. The way I combat that is I research, I read a lot, I watch a lot of videos. That's part of what led me to make these videos, is because so many people have helped me that I wanted to try and return the favor. And what I learned is that it's not unusual. Many people deal with it with MS, and that my real concern would be if it happens day after day. But to have it happen sporadically, just like any other symptom, it's just something that I have to learn to cope with. The biggest problem is just embarrassment. And you know, with my wife of 20 years, it's not that big of a deal. It doesn't bother me, and she's very compassionate and very understanding and would never make me feel uncomfortable about it. But if it happens in a social situation or a business situation where somebody doesn't know me or know my circumstances, even if they're not making an issue of it, it can be very uncomfortable. So that's a challenge, and that's one that I've had to deal with. It's poked its ugly head out because of, stress and the change to fall and the change to winter are two very tough ones for my body. Again, I've spoken about it many times. I don't really understand the science on it, but I know it's common. So this is a tough time of year for me physically, and I'm working through it, and it's just another log on the fire, so to speak, that I have to deal with. However, if I can turn that into a positive by sharing with people so that they understand that they're not alone and that this scary little symptom is not meaning the beginning of the end, but it's just one of the many lovely little sprinkles that MS gives you, then, it makes me feel better that I've helped people out a little bit. So, I'm glad that during this video I wasn't able to replicate that unnecessarily so that you could see what I'm dealing with, but at the same time, I did want to share it. I did want to share something that I've been going through and dealing with, and I am going to keep living the dream with MS.